Welcome back to another Who Won PMQs. This week was Liz Truss, the new Prime Minister, in her first PMQs of her premiership. With the leader debates and hustings seeing the Conservatives completely trash their own record in government, would Starmer use any of the material they handed to him? So, without further ado, let's dive right in.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I congratulate the Prime Minister on her appointment? When she said in her leadership campaign that she was against windfall taxes, did she mean it?
This is a good opening question from Starmer, straight to the point, and it's what people want to know.
Well, I thank the right honourable gentleman for his welcome. I hope that we will be able to work together, particularly on areas we agree on, and I know that we have had strong support from the opposition in opposing Vladimir Putin's appalling war in Ukraine.
Now, Truss starts off strong here, recognising they are on opposite sides, but looking to work together on common goals, and this can only be good for the country. We find out a little bit more about her logic later, so for this question, I'll let her have the point, just for her apparent approach to politics.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for that answer. I ask because the Treasury estimates are that the energy producers will make £170 billion in excess profits over the next 2 years. The Prime Minister knows she's no choice but to back an energy price freeze. But it won't be cheap, and the real choice, the political choice, is who is going to pay. Is she really telling us that she's going to leave these vast excess profits on the table and make working people foot the bill for decades to come?
Another good question from Starmer. The oil and gas companies are already making profit. With the price cap increasing and then putting prices up just because they can, not because they need to, is creating more profit on top of the profit they've already made, or excess profit. In order to freeze the energy bills, someone has to pay for it. Labour want to use the excess profit. As stated in Truss's first answer, she's against that, even though that's the most sensible solution. So that only leaves the public to pay for it at higher taxes. Let's hear her answer on who should pay.
Well, I understand that people across our country are struggling with the cost of living and they're struggling with their energy bills. And that is why I, as Prime Minister, will take immediate action to help people with the cost of their energy bills. And I will be making an announcement to this House on that tomorrow.
Okay, so we're going to have to give her the benefit of the doubt. She said that she would make an announcement today, so that, in all honesty, if she's ruling out a windfall tax, it's going to be higher taxes, but we can't know that for sure. She might have some other magic money tree hidden away, and so I'll give her the point for this one.
Well, I look forward to tomorrow's statement, but the money's got to come from somewhere. And she knows that every single pound in excess profits she chooses not to tax is an extra pound on borrowing that working people will be forced to pay back for decades to come. More borrowing than is needed. That's the true cost of her choice to protect oil and gas profits, isn't it?
So with this question, Starmer's pretty much setting out what I've just said. The money's got to come from somewhere, either by the windfall tax or the public's. It's that simple.
That this country will not be able to tax its way to growth.
Now this is a ridiculous statement. You can't tax your way to growth. Of course you can, as long as you spend that money wisely. Building infrastructure, building public services, provide the means in the transport for workers to get to work and improve the economy. And you can do that through taxation, not by taxing the public and giving it to your donor friends.
The way we will grow our economy is by attracting investment, keeping taxes low, delivering the reforms to build projects quicker. That is the way that we will create jobs and opportunities across our country.
Now, with this question, investment in the UK has been declining since 2016. It kind of eludes me what happened in 2016 that might actually have caused this, but cutting ourselves off from our closest trading partner might have something to do with it. So I can see why keeping corporation tax low is probably the only weapon in their arsenal to try and claw back some of that investment. Whether it happened or not, I don't know.
Mr. Speaker, it's extraordinary that not only is the Prime Minister refusing to extend the windfall tax, she's also choosing to hand the water companies polluting our beaches a tax cut. She's choosing to hand the banks a tax cut. She's choosing to hand the banks a tax cut. Add it all together, and companies that are already doing well are getting a £17 billion tax cut, while working people pay for the cost of living crisis, stroke victims wait an hour for an ambulance, and criminals walk the streets with impunity. Families and public services need every penny they can get. How on earth does she think that now is the right time to protect Shell's profits and give Amazon a tax break?
This is a brilliant question, and it sets out exactly why this country is failing: lack of spending in public services.
I'm on the side of people who work hard and do the right thing.
How could she possibly claim that she's on the side of working people, and she's looking at increasing their tax burden to pay for the energy freeze?
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister claims to be breaking orthodoxy, but the reality is she's reheating George Osborne's failed corporation tax plans, protecting oil and gas profits and forcing working people to pay the bill. She's the fourth Tory Prime Minister in 6 years. The face at the top may change, but the story remains the same. There is nothing new about the Tory fantasy of trickle-down economics. Nothing new about this Tory Prime Minister who nodded through every single decision that got us into this mess and now says how terrible it is. And can't she see there's nothing new about a Tory Prime Minister who, when asked who pays, says it's you, the working people of Britain?
Starmer here sets out perfectly the face at the top may have changed, but the policies and the politics and the ethics, they're all the same. Protect the rich and make the working people pay. It's that simple.
Well, there's nothing new about a Labour leader who is calling for more tax rises.
This is clearly just for sound bites. She knows that the Tory media will pick this up and run with it. What Labour is proposing is that they tax the profits of the companies that are already making way over the odds, and then spending it on public services that desperately need it.
Same old tax and spend. What I'm about is about reducing taxes, getting our economy growing, getting investment, getting new jobs for people right across the country.
Tax and spend is what you do to pay for the energy company price hikes. But she didn't say that though, did she? It's very clever. Very clever. Makes it sound like Labour want to tax working people when they don't. It's the Conservatives that do. I really wanted to give her the wing this week. It was her first PMQs. But after that performance, it's clear that she isn't much different than Johnson. Yes, she's going to have to put a price freeze on the energy bills. That much is true. But she's going to make us pay for it while she protects her donors, her investors. But PMQs was nice. It was a nice change from the repeated lines of fastest growing economy in the G7 when it wasn't, and the fastest rollout, which, alright, it probably was at the start, but it isn't anymore. She did actually answer some questions. Not quite the answers we were looking for, but at least she did answer. So, to see how she got the top job as Prime Minister, watch this video next. And I'll see you next time.